Namaste and welcome to class, and thank you for sitting with me with your undivided attention. And today's class is supporting your practice of this week in relation to your willpower, in relation to your Manipura chakra, and to the gut logic or the gut illogical. Sometimes we have the gut feeling, we have the intuition, and we don't know how to discriminate what is true or what is not true. So today's exploration goes through the three types of logic accordingly to the sutras, Shiva Sutras in the Vedas. And I found this very relevant in the way that you receive the teachings, in the way that you perceive your life, and in the way that you talk to yourself, because it's the kind of different kind of languages that slowly you need to conquer. It is also in relationship to your mind, obviously, when we talk about logic, but is different kinds of refinements of the mind process of integrating the information. So the first logic that we all humans have, but we see very little, is the common sense. That logic is called Tarka in Sanskrit and is related to skills, right? It's like you are showing how to make a fire, and you make a fire and you use the fire correctly, not to hurt yourself, not to hurt others, but to cook and warm your house. So the common sense is very much related to the matter and the skills that you have in order to make yourself comfortable in matter. So you understand how logically things work in matter, right? So is the skills that you apply in your work, is the skills that you apply in your hands, in your speech. That is the logical sequence of Tarka. Now, when Tarka is in balance, when it's not lazy, Tarka very much relates to the navel in the sense of helping you to accomplish things that are tangible. So it's the one that make you sweat. You know how to do the garden, you know how to cook, you know how to send an email, you know how to clean, you know how to, all these skills, it really make a sense of accomplishment, a sense of, oh yeah, I can do that. I am safe on earth and I can do that. It gives you a sense of freedom and a sense of independence. However, if you stay in there, you're just a worker. You're just working and repeating the same kind of logical pattern that at the end is just very flat. Now, the other kind of logic is not really a logic, but it's the wrong understanding of things. And in the Shiva Sutras, it is defined as Kutarka. It's very good, the definition, if you have the chance to read those sutras. Because, in my opinion, I can complement the teachings of that, seeing that in our modern times, we have so much information, so much influx in our senses, and we are addicted to junk information. How many times and hours you spend in YouTube or in Netflix looking things that are just not really very deep, and they are of different categories. That you receive information but is not supported by a larger body of understanding. For example, you're watching a movie about cooking. Then you finish the cooking and then you go to a video about the worst prisons on earth. And this too, the mind start to trying to discern or to link these two type of information in something that is useful, in something that it makes some kind of logic. But it can't, because you're not offering a context of a study or research. So Kutarka is the kind of logic that put statements in an order that is convenient for you. For example, actually I had a student that once told me, I will practice because practice made the master. Practice made the perfection. And I say, yes, practice made the perfection. And then that same student read that or heard that everything is perfect. So he said, well, if everything is perfect, then I don't need to practice. That is the kind of conclusions that have no link. It's the wrong logic. And that happens more in the head rather than in the guts. The guts knows more than that, but we'll get into that. So you're not only distorting the information, but in Kutarka you're also adapting the information for your self-interest. For you not to do things, for you to make a logic of your resistance, for you to keep exteriorizing things, for you to not have the links that are necessary for you to have a clear picture of your life and the decisions that you need to make. Mostly what you do is you look in the others a bad intention that it doesn't exist or is meant to be a good intention. For example, if you enter in a room full of people and people are laughing and they look at you and they keep laughing, then you conclude that they are laughing at you, that you are not invited or that they reject you, right? Or that if somebody have done something in their life, then you say it's just because it was to hurt me. You don't see the good intention in people, period. You only see things that support your limiting belief system, your system of being hurt and be small. And then the third type of logic is very interesting because it's a special logic, it says in the Vedas. It's Vitarka. And it only says is through Vitarka you only can know the self. Through the application of Vitarka you only can know yourself or the true self. And it says Vitarka is a special logic. And this is what I am referring to, the logic of the guts, because it's very much related to the heart and it's very much in relation to your will, where you understand the information as it is, with no filters, with no distortions, with no interpretations. And in that reception, then you have the pure transmission from the life, what it's trying to tell you. And is produced by certain availability and certain surrender. It's not something in the mind. It's something that, yes, I understand things the way they are, and I am not rejecting anything. I am understanding that knowledge is all encompassing. Knowledge unites things and unite people. It's based in Dharma. It's based on you choosing things for the embetterment of others rather than your own self. And it's received in silence, when inside the mind or the Kutarka is not trying to do its ways. When Kutarka is clarified, all those doubts, all those fears, all these misinterpretations, then naturally there is silence in the mind. There is silence, and in that silence you start understanding reality as what it is. And since you are reality, you're understanding yourself as you are. Any decision or logic is beyond the mind and is always looking of how one decision will benefit the whole. So in that all encompassment, it creates a fire of curiosity that comes as a question. And that question, it has no answer. So, for example, the what I am or who I am is a question that is clean from any answer. It's more the invitation of the Vitarka for you to dwell in that logic. Since it's related to silence, and since it's related to the encompassment of everything, it's very much related to the heart. It's how the heart understands things and knows things. Because it receives the emanation from essence as a truth, unquestionable. What it doesn't need to be understood, it doesn't bother about it. And what it needs to be understood is understood as what it is. And immediately then it touches your navel center. You will. You say, I understand, then I act. I act on it. That harmony between the heart and the navel is the perfect environment for service, where you are in the flow and at the same time you are in your will. You are in surrender, but you are not tense about the actions that you need to do. You're in your own flow. When we use the Vitarka logic, intuition comes. It flowers the navel center. It flowers the stability of the heart. And it flowers the wisdom. So we need to purify the Kutarka, have the skills of Tarka, and if you are a seeker, to apply constantly Vitarka. That way your logic get mature, and we can contemplate in that sutra deeply that say, only through Vitarka you're able to know the self. Thank you for sitting with me. Take notes, and I will see you in our next class.